G'day, my name's Toby, and in this video I'm going to give you quite a detailed walk around of the Bruder EXP-7 and really highlight some of the design and engineering behind the product. Now, one of the first things that people tend to notice when they see a Bruder for the first time is this patented suspension system, which you won't find on any other trailer make. Now, one of the things that makes it so unique is that the fact that it has 12 inches of usable wheel travel, or around 300 millimeters. Now, how does this compare to, say, the EXP-7's closest competition? Well, the closest trailer with independent long travel air suspension has 140 millimeters of usable wheel travel. Most trailers only have about 80 millimeters of usable wheel travel. How does this compare to, say, off-road vehicles or cars? Well, a Volkswagen Golf, a Toyota Prius, etc., cars you do not want to hit big bumps at with speed, all have 6 inches of wheel travel, more than 2 inches more than the EXP-7's closest competition. So that gives you some idea of just how limited the wheel travel is on an off-road trailer and why they tend to travel so slowly off-road. If you compare that to, say, off-road vehicles like a 300 series Land Cruiser, a Ram 2500, a Land Rover Defender, etc., they're going to have 10 inches to 14 inches of usable wheel travel. And that's why they can actually go off-road and sit at the speed limit and handle big bumps without things flying all over the place. The idea with the Bruder design was about bridging the gap between what a good off-road vehicle can do and with what a trailer, in our opinion, should be able to handle. So we'll overlay some footage now showing a Bruder going quite quickly down the track, and you'll notice that the suspension is doing all the work and there's no big jolts or forces going through to the body. Now imagine doing the same thing with a trailer only having 4 inches of wheel travel, and it'll be heading somewhere up towards orbit. Something else unique to Bruder is the fact that the EXP-7 can raise any one of its wheels. So if you had a flat tire here or diagonally across on the other side, you can simply raise that wheel and you could tow it with just 2 wheels, be it front or rear. You see, this suspension system was all around strength. It is certified engineered to handle 5 times its maximum weight. And we use the same suspension system on some of our commercial contracts, be it with defence or for mobile geology labs and trailers that spend basically their lifetime out in deserts. Speaking of deserts, if you're doing a lot of soft sand driving, we recommend to have the suspension set on load sharing, and that's how the Bruder is in its standard form. Basically, as this wheel comes up, that wheel is forced down and the mass on the ground or the weight on the ground is being distributed evenly between these 2 wheels. Now, if you reduce the tyre pressures to, say, 15 psi or 10 psi, as we often do when we're travelling through very soft sand, and you fit 37-inch tyres, which this thing can run, you end up with a huge footprint and a mass that is evenly distributed over a broad area. And because the trailer has so much wheel travel, when you're going over bumps and undulations or over the crests of dunes, you're not getting wheels leaving the ground, and that mass is being distributed again over that big area. The Bruder can convert to fully independent suspension. You lock off the airbags and basically they won't communicate with one another. The problem with that is, and this is the way most off-road trailers are built, you end up with a significantly different weight over this wheel, say, compared to that wheel. So if you've got 300 kilos of more force on this wheel compared to that one, this particular tyre is going to bog down a lot sooner. So that's why we have these abilities to switch between load sharing and non-load sharing suspension. There are instances, for example, where you want maximum ground clearance, in which case you would just jack the trailer right up, lock off the airbags, and you're not really going to have much wheel travel, but you're going to get great approach and departure angles. The chassis design on a Bruder is a sealed construction, which means it's not hot dip galvanized. For those of you that don't know, you can't hot dip galvanize a sealed structure. You can only hot dip galvanize something with holes or vents. So whenever you see an off-road trailer with a hot dip galvanized chassis, realize that salt, sand, mud, etc. can eventually over time work its way within the chassis itself. With a sealed construction, they can never rust from the inside out. And if you use high quality materials and a good coating on the outside, it's by far the best form of rust prevention. Now, when you actually get underneath the Bruder and look all the way through from the front all the way to the back, you'll notice that nothing actually hangs down underneath. Water lines, plumbing, water tanks, etc., they're all up within the chassis. And if you look very closely, you'll see that the suspension arms are also mounted within the chassis. they're not on a subframe sitting down below. The reason being is this design was all about being correct from the ground up. We don't buy suspension made by someone else and retrofit it to a flat chassis design. This is all about doing things properly from the ground up. And at the rear, there's 2 recovery points and a discreetly mounted winch. Again, up within the chassis, not hanging down beneath it. Now, the body structure on a Bruder is fully composite. We don't use aluminium extrusion or aluminium frames inside to keep the body together. Why? Because if you join 2 panels together with aluminium extrusion and you go in sub-zero temperatures or excessively hot temperatures, you've created a pathway for heat to migrate straight through to the interior. By keeping the panels all as one piece, or like a boat hull, you alleviate that issue. So this clashing you see on the outside of the Bruder, that doesn't transfer through to the inside. Now, what we do find is that in testing in extremely hot temperatures, the outside skin with a dark painted trailer is going to get hotter, but the transfer through to the interior is negligible. In other words, you can have a black Bruder or a white Bruder or a beige color Bruder or a green Bruder, whatever color you like, and the difference in terms of internal temperature when you're in very, very hot environments is negligible. So most people do tend to opt in these darker colors, even though they could have it painted any color they like. The EXP-7 is also available in 2 formats. This is the PT version, which is the Bruder pop-top lifting version, and that's a unique design, again, only found on Bruders. It's designed to be able to lift extremely heavy loads, so it doesn't matter if you've got a big snow load or extremely strong winds, etc. It remains incredibly rigid, whether it's up or in the down position. The other variant of this trailer is called the GT, and that has a taller fixed roofline. Which one you prefer really comes down to personal preference. At the front of this particular trailer, you can see it's been fitted with the firewood rack. There's a spare tire on the front. Again, it's overkill to carry a second spare, particularly with an EXP-7, because you can raise both those wheels. You've actually got 3 spare tires. Up on the crest of the roof there, you've got a dual filtered pressurizing system. Again, it's a Bruder design system. Now, this is designed to pressurize the interior. So when you're going through those really dusty environments, you can press a button on your phone or your tablet or on the main control panel and turn it on, and that'll pressurize the interior. So that'll have more pressure inside the trailer than outside, so that dust physically can't come in. It's also a good thing to turn it on for ultra deep river crossings, again because of that positive pressure. Next to that is the air conditioning system, and you can see this particular trailer has been fitted with a Starlink system, and that's permanently mounted on the roof there. Now at the front of the Bruder here, you have a big through boot, which is very handy for bulky items or long items like fishing rods. Here you have the slide out kitchen, and you'll notice it's got 4 latches. We do that because this trailer is designed for serious off-road use, and the last thing you want to do is accidentally have your kitchen slide out. Now, admittedly, this is about a nice height for me, but I'm 6'7", so just lower the suspension down another 6, 7 or 12 inches if you wanted to. So it really can adapt to anybody's height. You've got big storage areas here, slide out drawers here, which are soft close, and a fridge freezer here, or fridge. You really just choose what temperature you want per section on this particular design. The EXP-7 design is really what we would call a hybrid design, meaning it's about bringing inside and outside living together. You see, for roadside stops, this side kitchen here is extremely handy because it offers instant protection from the sun. Of course, you can deploy the electric awnings, which this trailer has on both sides, or you can fit manual awnings if you wish. You can access the basin here, hot and cold water, and you can raise up this section here if you want to have it completely open from the inside to the outside. And it makes camping just so easy having dual access through here, because you can access the basin equally easily from outside or inside. So you've got hot and cold water here. And when you're in those idyllic spots where there are no midges and it's the perfect temperature, it is so nice having this area completely open. If there are a few insects about the place, you can just pull down this mesh, and that will allow you to have that great view still with the outside. And the internal lights and external lights can be made to be orange, which attracts a lot less bugs. And if you're somewhere very hot and you've got the air conditioning running inside and you don't want that cold air to escape, or perhaps you're somewhere very cold and you do want to access this section from the outside, you'd pull down this section here, and that's going to add a second level of insulation. The person that we use to test everything is actually my mum, who's in her late 70s, has a double hip replacement, and has quite bad arthritis. So we make sure all the latches, the sliding of the fridge, etc. can all be done by her, and we figure we've got it pretty much right when she can handle it nice and easily. The EXP-7 has over 1200 watt of solar and a 48 volt electrical system which can have up to 15 kilowatt hour of lithium battery power. Now, it's very much an off-grid design. By that I mean you can run your induction cooktop, you can run the air conditioner, you can run that washing machine, you can run both fridges, etc. for an indefinite period of time, providing you get some level of sunlight. This design here in Australia, where we get plenty of sunlight, should be able to run most people's households off-grid. That's how much power it has. It's very much a future-focused design because you can also plug in an EV charger to the EXP-7. Now, it's not really fair to try and compare a 48 volt system with a 12 volt system, which is what 99% of off-road trailers and caravans have. If this was a 12 volt system, it would need to have over 1200 amp of lithium battery power to even be remotely comparable to this design. It gives you some level of understanding of just how powerful the EXP-7 is in terms of electronics. But you see, 48 volts is so much more efficient than 12 volt. Not only with 12 volt do you need big heavy gauged wires to be able to run that same equivalent power, but with a 48 volt system, you're going to be carrying a lot less heat, it's going to be lighter weight, and it's certainly going to be a lot more efficient. Working our way around to the back of the trailer, you can see that we've got jerry can holders here, another jerry can holder on this side. This section is where your recovery mats go. You can see this particular trailer has been fitted with a UHF. Down there is the recovery winch, which I mentioned earlier. Now, behind this section is where all the electronics are kept. In this section here is the clothes washing machine. Of course, if that's overkill for you, that can just be storage. And then we'll work our way around to the other side. On the right-hand side of the EXP-7, or the starboard side, you can see it has another entryway. And I'll talk a bit about the entryways in a little bit. But what's quite unique is the fact that you can go straight into the shower and bathroom on the EXP-7. It's very handy for when you camp down near the beach, or ironically when you're in very cold climates. Because that bathroom section can have its door closed, if you've got the heaters on inside and you step inside to that area, basically it becomes a drying room. So you take off all your wet gear, leave it in this section before you enter the main cabin of the trailer. You have an outside shower here, which is perfect for washing down your feet. The shower obviously internally. And when it comes to the toilet, you can have a fully composting, a chemical type if you wish, or a dry flush. They tend to be the three most common that people fit. On the side here is a drop-down table. Again, an awning fitting on this one. And at the front section here, you've got a generator, just in case you're not going to see any sun for a long period of time, and a diesel system. When it comes to getting in and out of the EXP-7, I thought I'd just give a quick example of how low the step goes when the suspension's dropped all the way down. And you can see I can just get my foot underneath the step there. In fact, I think if you measured it out, you'd find that this step height is lower and easier than it is to get into most on-road caravans. So if you're a little bit older or you've got bad knees, you can always drop the trailer down, extend that step, and it's nice and simple to get in and out of. Now, to give you some idea of space inside an EXP-7 PT, I'm a little over 2 meters tall, so 6'7", and I've got plenty of headroom here. In fact, the trailer's really designed about giving a very airy feel. There are windows all the way around you, and with that big kitchen door open there, you've got a view straight outside. Also at the double bed there, which is a queen size double, that's a 6'7" long bed, you'll notice that there's windows left and right and directly above you. We know from personal experience that one of the best things about camping is seeing all the stars directly above you when you fall asleep at night, plus waking up in the morning and maybe seeing the beach or the surf or watching the snowfall. We want to make sure that you experience the outdoors even though you're actually indoors. Around the bed area, you'll notice that there's wireless phone charging, there's dedicated storage for books or sleep apnea machines, things that people might have next to their bed. And of course, if you're traveling with a family, that bed can also lift up at the base and it reveals another seat. The lounge area here can also convert into a bunk bed. It's really straightforward. You just pull down 2 carbon fiber rods and clip them into place. So this roof area here can have additional bedding within it. It basically becomes like a rooftop tent internally within the trailer. All the EXP-7's controls are controlled off that main control panel, but everything can also be relayed straight through to your phone or your tablet. So you can portably manage your brightness of your lights, turn on your diesel system. I could raise or lower the roof off my phone. I could level out the suspension, turn on various items or turn off various items portably. The table on the EXP-7 is extremely handy because you can move it into all sorts of different locations. In fact, you can actually take this table and use it externally as well. Now, the shower area on the EXP-7 is really quite generously sized given the overall dimensions of the trailer. And we wanted to make it so that when you're in the middle of nowhere, you can have that door wide open and really enjoy having a room with a view, so to speak. Now, at the rear of the EXP-7 where you enter, there's another fridge freezer, and directly above that is a microwave, and to the right of that is where the pantry is. Also where you enter, there's a dedicated area for wine bottle storage. Now keep in mind, when you look around the interior of an EXP-7, the colours, the upholstery, etc. can all be tailored to client requirements. In fact, if you're after something extremely unique, Bruder also has a bespoke division where the entire layout, etc. can be altered. And we'll do a separate video on Bruder Bespoke a little bit later. The EXP-7 is a purpose-built design. It's specifically made to be narrow so it can fit down those overgrown tracks and go places where you won't find big bulky caravans or large RVs. It's all about going places where you won't find other people, and it's specifically designed to be off-grid and stay off-grid. Now, if there's something in this video that I didn't shed enough detail on, please feel free to get in touch with either our sales team here in Australia or the US or in Germany. This is the first of a lot of detailed videos that we'll be doing in 2025, and also in the new year we'll be releasing some new models, so we're excited to share those with you as well. Until next time, I hope you get out there and enjoy the outdoors. Cheers.